Yeah, this is brought to you via InfoWars. I'm sure you've seen it elsewhere, but we're going to cover this now. Listen to this piece of crap, Somali. You can play now. Go ahead and play. Okay. I don't know why it's not playing, so I guess we got to do this.
This is my land. I control this place. This is my reality. You all gonna be enchained. I'm gonna lock all you guys up if you don't pay your taxes. You better pay your taxes.
Now, what do you think happens when we see Muslims saying, we're conquering the West, there's nothing you can do? A certain percentage of people get motivated. What do you think people do when they see the head of Meta censorship go, almost all the censor heads in government and in big tech are Jewish, and if you say it's a Jewish conspiracy, we will crack down on you even harder. It's baiting, folks. It's baiting, okay? So I don't care who runs it. I'm not going to attack people because of groups of people or whatever. Yeah, I mean, it's like with Somalis. I've probably seen 100 videos of Somalis in Minnesota going, listen, white slaves, we own you. And you're going to do whatever we say, however we say. And people see these and think this can't be real. Go to Minneapolis. I've been there many times. The Genesis Network used to be based up there. Been there like 20 times. I don't remember. I like Minnesota, man. I mean, I don't like traveling that much, but the hunting and fishing is just mwah. And so Ted Anderson, the owner of the network, was a big hunter and fisher, still is.
You saw this little sissy, this invader right here, has the audacity to say, go to work for me, white slaves. I'll put you in chains. It's almost as if, this bitch is a racist. He's like, he's calling out white people. So he's admitting that white people are the only people that work. Is that right? What, black people don't work? What about Indians? They don't work? Of course they do. There are blacks that do work, and they pay their taxes. So, but you failed to mention them. Go to work for me, blacks. Go to work for me, Indians. Go to work for me, Asians. Go to work for me, whites. I mean, you just called out white people as if white people were the only ones that are going to work and paying taxes. So you just kind of like made your own skin color look bad. But look at you, you piece of crap. Look at you. You're an invader. You're a mooch. You're a leech. You're a parasite. You're a pimple on the ass of humanity. You're a cancer. You're worthless. You're nothing but an invader. That's all you are. Worthless waste of flesh. And you're a leech on our system. And you're not here to assimilate, so you need to be thrown out of this fucking country. The fact that you're here speaks volumes that you're allowed to be here. But this happened under Beijing Joe Biden's watch. I covered that for 4 years during that fraudulent administration. So don't get triggered by, because I showed you Alex Jones. He's showing this video and he goes on to say this is the great replacement. All right? How many whites do you even see, white people, in commercials anymore? If we're the majority still, shouldn't we still be representing in commercials, right? And every now and then maybe in the minorities, like it always has been. But now, hardly ever is a white person in a commercial. Now you see nothing but blacks in homes and doing Old Spice commercials and all kinds of commercials, credit card and all this stuff, all kinds of commercials. You don't see white people in them. Hardly ever now. This is the great replacement. But these bitches right here, all of them, the whole lot of them, they need to be rounded up. If you're here illegally, if you're here, let me just say this. If you're here legally and you're not assimilating, I'll go as far as say you need to be rounded up. You need to learn the English language. You need to assimilate to Western culture, American culture, and our values. And if you don't, well, then you need to go back where you came from. If Somalia is so great, go back to Somalia. If Mexico is so great, go back to Mexico. If you're waving any other country's flag, go back there. If it was so wonderful, what the fuck you doing here, you little parasite, you? Because that's what you are. You sound a little like you got sugar in your tank. Right? I wouldn't be surprised if this is a government operative here, because they're trying to start a civil war any way they can get it. And the invasion was a huge part in it, but Americans are still asleep for the most part. Americans are still asleep to the fact that we have been invaded. It's not by 8 million in 4 years. I came across information several years ago that it's upwards of 40 million. 40. This is a UN invasion. This is Alex Jones mentions this is their plan. This is the UN's plan. This is Open Society's George Soros to destabilize the Western countries, to drown out or dilute white Christianity, but Christianity as a whole, because these Muslims say that they're going to go and conquer every city, every state, and every household will be Muslim. That's what they said. These piece of craps need to be rounded up. The enemy's within. It's been allowed in, and those that allowed it in need to be arrested as well. But you know, as well as I know, that that's not going to happen. None of this is going to stop until it's stopped. You already know that. So here we go. Round these bitches up, these leeches. They're not assimilating at all. They're here. They're actually here saying we're here. You're going to do our bidding. Bitch said it's his land. This is his country. That's what this piece of crap said. What would happen to you if you went over there to Somalia, a third world hellhole, a shithole, and said, I'm here. I'm going to make, this is my land, bitches. You're going to start speaking English. You're going to start being a Christian. You wouldn't make it through the day. You wouldn't make it in any country with a backbone. But if you went to these Western countries, because they're all hijacked by these New World Order piece of crap, if a Muslim went to these Western countries like Germany, France, UK, I would venture to say even continent of Australia, and if you were an invader like them and went over there and tried to impose your will upon the native people, they'd roll over. They'd roll over. But in places like, if you went to Somalia, if you went to Iran, if you went to any other country other than Western type countries, that rock would not roll. They wouldn't have any of that. You would be stopped in a nanosecond. But here we are. These Western countries in particular have been severely, I know a lot of countries around the world have been hijacked by the New World Order, but the Western countries have been, that's the high concentration, in my opinion, of New World Order pieces of crap that pose as your leaders, right? Your dear leaders. So here we are. Round these sons of bitches up. Round them up. Put them in a fucking FEMA camp. All right? They want to put Americans, and they want to put Christian Americans in FEMA camps. They do. That's why they got FEMA camps with coffins and everything like that. The military has high-tech guillotines for Americans, for patriots, for Christians. Yeah, that's already been established. I've shown that, and other channels have shown that. Don't make me have to do that again, because that's old hat. That's waiting in the wings. But I say, you know what? Send these bastards to the FEMA camps. You know, Big Brother wants to send us to FEMA camps, right, and never come back, like they did during COVID 1984. Remember 2020? Certain areas of the world, including Australia, had concentration type camps, isolation camps. If you had the sniffles, if you tested positive, remember that? To their own citizens, their own governments did that to their own citizens. How about doing it to these bitches? Do it to these bastards that were allowed in here, these fucking invaders. That they're illegal to begin with. They're mooching off the government, and they brag about it, and they tell the natives of America, and particularly white people, go to work for me so I can stay home and get my EBT. To me, this feels like this is a government operative right here, a deep state like operative that's trying to stoke the fire, trying to get us pissed off enough to do a civil war, because they want a civil war any way they can get it. If they can't do that, they'll do a fake UFO that I hear is on tap for New Year's Eve or something like that. This is ridiculous where we're at, but this is what you're seeing is the great replacement. And in countries like Alex Jones mentioned, don't get triggered, bitch you. I get annoyed with that too. And other people have mentioned that places like Germany, UK, I don't know if France is one of them, but in Europe in particular, that if you actually make the statement that we are being replaced by these fucking invaders, you can get arrested and get served 2 to 3 years in those countries. Because this is Big Brother, this is 1984, this is Orwellian, this is where we're at. And now they want AI to totally rule over us. I just saw a video that nanotechnology, nanobots in our fucking drinking water. Are you kidding me? But this is, I said it might be a government operative or not. I don't know. But the thing is, this is how they feel. This is how they feel towards us. Because they're not here. They're coming to America to assimilate. They're not here because they want to hug the American flag. They're not here because they want to embrace American values. They're not here because they just want to be part of our American dream, which is really an American nightmare. That's not why they're here. They're not here for that. You got people that came here the right way. You got people that fled, like people like Cubans that fled communism, and they don't want any part of communism. They love America. They're conservative for the most part. They love America, and they know that the land that they left, Cuba, the communist Cuba, which is a third world hellhole, and it shouldn't be because it could be a wonderful tropical vacation spot and place to live. They turn into hellhole because that's what communism does. That's what these demon rats love. They love communism. They love socialism, however you want to say it. And it turns everything into hellhole, shithole. So the Cubans that fled Cuba, they come here to the United States, and they don't want to turn the United States into communism. I've spoken to many a Cuban, and they cannot stand communism. They're glad they left Cuba, and they love America. And that's a fact. Not every single one, but a lot of them. A majority, everyone that I've come in contact with throughout my life, all right? And I'm over half a century old, so there's that. They're here because they love America. They left their wasteland, and they're not here to turn this country into a fucking communist country. But then you got people that were actually born here, like these libtards, that want to turn this country into a communist country because they don't have two brain cells to rub together. All they do is they just get indoctrinated by these other fucking communists, like in the universities and fake news and things like that. And they want to turn their own homeland into a communist country. Round all these bastards up. Just round them up. I mean, yeah, it sounds dictatorish, but I mean, they're here to destroy a country. They're not here to make America great again. I know that's going to trigger you. They're not here to help our country out. They're here to destroy our country. So round them all up, all right? Enemies, domestic and both foreign and domestic. Well, we got plenty of foreigners that are in our homeland that are hate our country and just want to suck the system dry, so to speak. Then you got a lot of people that were born here, sheeple that were born here, these libtards, these commies that love communism and want to turn this country into a communist hellhole. That means you're not really an American. Round these bastards up. But this is going to fester, I'm sure, until the powder keg explodes. Because even I talked to someone at the gym yesterday. It was actually Sunday. And this person said, they know that a civil war is coming. They know it. Meaning the government, Trump, the president, obviously, people in government, military, they know a civil war is coming. Yeah, because this has been going on for a very long time. Our country has been hijacked by New World Order POSs, and they all know that, well, this is done by design. So let me get into this. Do you remember I mentioned Paul Craig Roberts? I did a video on him not too long ago, and I left a link in the description section, which I'm sure nobody even paid attention to, because I had no feedback that anybody paid attention to it. Yeah, so let me put my Tim Pool hat on. No, it's not. I just in the winter time I wear this at night. I got a space heater down here on, but this helps me sleep. It keeps the heat in when I go night nui. And it's comfortable when I feel a little chilly. So just roll with it. Listen to this. Put my reading glasses on. This is by Paul Craig Roberts, okay? Let's do this real quick. This is what he says. I wish I could find my white privilege. Yeah, I wish I could find mine too. Where is my white privilege? They keep talking fake news, these libtards keep talking about white privilege. Where's mine? I don't have white privilege. Is mine not white enough? Do I have to bleach my skin like Michael Jackson did? Are you JKing me? There is no white privilege. That's fake news. That's fake news. All right? There's black privilege big time. There's also black fatigue. There's confused gender privilege. We've seen that over the years during the Beijing Jokburn regime, right? There's no white privilege. What year are they in? 1862 or 1865? What year are they in? Fake news. There's no white privilege. But here's what Paul Craig says, Roberts. All I can find is my white burden. Yeah. Shrinking middle-class incomes are burdened with the upkeep of millions of illegals who, with the help of Democrats, have overrun our country with the burden of supporting 42 million Americans on SNAP benefits, which amounts to a form of communism. It is. Redistribution is now the means of sustaining a population 1/4 the size of the American workforce. Yet, anti-white propagandists such as Robin DiAngelo, I don't know who that is, but roll with it, continue to tell us that we white Americans are despicable, privileged white supremacists. Where is this white supremacy? What these bastards, they're weaponized. They're weaponized. They keep gaslighting. Oh, there's white supremacy. Where's the white supremacy? There's hardly any white people in commercials. White people have been like scrutinized. What is it? Racism has been used against them in the universities. Well, you're white, so we can't let you, even though you have a really high score, and this Groyd doesn't, or this illegal doesn't, but we're going to promote the illegal. We're going to allow them in over you. Sorry, whitey. Where's this white privilege? There's no white privilege. There's no white privilege. It's fake news. That's fake news. But that's what idiots like commies like Robin DiAngelo promote. Oh, there's fake news. That's what fake news says. MSLSD, Commie News Network. Well, white supremacy, the white man bad. What is it? Male toxicity. All this nonsense. Because this is a war. This is a cultural war, is what this is. And it's a Full Metal Jacket. You ever see that movie? The war is right here, and that's what they're trying to do. They're trying to hijack your mind. All right. Your chemtrail brain. They're trying to hijack that. They're trying to hijack and making you think that, yeah, white's bad, I should be ashamed that I'm white, and all this nonsense. All this nonsense. But it's just conquer and divide. But here, this is what Paul Craig Robert says. How are people privileged and supreme when it has been legal, although in violation of the U.S. Constitution, for white people, especially heterosexual males, to be discriminated against in university admissions? He's right. How the hell do we have white privilege, like I just mentioned, when white people are being discriminated against concerning university college admissions? That's not white supremacy. If you have white supremacy, you wouldn't be discriminated against to get into a university, which is a blessing in disguise, because you should not be attending universities and colleges. They're fucking libtards. They're commies is what they are. And all these damn universities do and colleges spew lies, just like public indoctrination institutions you call school, just nothing but lies. So it's a blessing in disguise in a way that white people have been discriminated against concerning university admissions, but it's the principle of the thing. This should not be happening. It shouldn't be happening, but it is. It's like we went back to 1920 or whatever. It's weird. Or no, in the 1860s. I don't know. It's just weird. This whole thing's weird. It's like we're living in a twilight zone. But white people have also been discriminated against concerning employment. What is it? My dad in New York City went for a police job when he was in between military. Like he left the military, but then later on he went back in. But when he left it, he went to apply to be a cop in New York City, and it was that affirmative action. That's right. It was a groid, which is short for negroid, which is the scientific term for blacks. A groid who scored lower than him got the job. My dad did. He scored way higher. He had superb test score, but he didn't get it because he's too white. He's white. Affirmative action said we got to get a quota of groids in. But yet, there's white supremacy. These people are evil, and they really, man. I tell you what, if I was allowed to be a president, I'd be a good dictator. I wouldn't really be a dictator. I'd be just doing what's right, getting rid of all the evil, the cancer in our country. Just getting rid of it. Getting rid of these affirmative actions, affirmative discrimination against white people. But yet that's been a thing. But yet there's white supremacy. It's bullshit. It's all lies. There's no such thing as white supremacy. It's black supremacy. It's queer supremacy. It's anything but white supremacy. All right? So, all this has been going on for the longest time, over half a century of whites being marginalized. Is that the right word? Paul Craig says, how is it privileged when any accusation, any slur can be leveled against white American citizens, whereas in comparison, a mild criticism of a person of color or of a Jew or of a Zionist murderer, such as Netanyahu, he says, brings down condemnation and often loss of job and other punishments on the head of such an audacious white person as to dare criticize even slightly members of true privileged class. Yeah, the true privileged class is these so-called politicians. Don't dare criticize them, or someone like, I guess, Netanyahu, who I used to like, but I guess is no longer likable. He's a POS just like a lot of other people. But how dare you criticize Netanyahu? If you do, and you're white, well, that's bad. But hey, you as a white person can be criticized by this. Free pass for this piece of shit because of his skin color, because he's also a bigger plus for the New World Order, that he's a fucking Somali. He's not an American. He's allowed to criticize you white people, all right? Blacks are allowed to criticize white. We see it all the time. Fake news is allowed to put down white people, and they're white, some of them, putting down white people. It's ridiculous. But the minute you even legitimately criticize anybody who happens to be a non-white, oh, you get condemned, don't you? Do you see what they're doing? Do you see what they're doing? I know you do, bitch, you, but anybody else? Anybody else? He goes on to say, Paul Craig Roberts, I'm going to wrap it up. He says on his own website, he's documented the erasure of Western civilization. One of his themes has been the title of Jean Raspail's famous novel, The Camp of the Saints. This novel, first published in 1973, tells the story of the French and the entire European population overrun by non-whites due to overwhelming guilt instilled in white ethnicities by education and media. Are you JKing? There was a 1973 novel, I never heard of it, a novel called The Camp of Saints, and this novel from 1973 told the story of the French and the entire European population overrun by non-whites, by invaders? A novel from 1973 called The Camp of the Saints? What you talking about, Willis? Seriously? More predictive programming, right? A book called The Camp of the Saints from 73. Written by Jean Raspail. Jean Raspail wrote the book, The Camp of the Saints, in 1973, talking about how Europe was going to be overrun by non-whites because white guilt was instilled into the white people of these European nations by the education and the media. This book from 1973 said that. And here we are, 52 years later. It's here and it's happening. More predictive programming, even my book. This is called The Great Replacement, all right? And The Great Replacement, much like everything else, will not stop until it's stopped. I don't know how you can't vote your way out of this. You can't. I probably can't even make a video like this and it gets any traction, but I have to for my own conscience and maybe reach at least one person to solve this. But voting, you're not going to vote your way out of this. It just it's not gonna none of this shit. This chemtrail, the poisoning of our water, putting nanotechnology in everything, our food, your soft drinks, your fucking drinking water, spraying us like bugs, blocking out the sun, simulate the sun, constant indoctrination in these indoctrination institutions you call schools and universities. None of it's gonna stop until it's stopped. That's it. But this is the Great Replacement. We're being replaced. You already know it. We've been invaded, and they're very fucking arrogant about it. And all of this has been predicted a long time ago, just like I mentioned. In particular, the book, The Camp of Saints. Are you JKing me? That's what I got for you. Better wake the fuck up. Better wake up. And this pansy over here, this racist piece of shit right here, because that's what this is gloating on the fact that, well, you know, he's a useless piece of shit, just like all these other invaders. Except for the fact that they're not useless for the New World Order. Because the New World Order has big plans. for these invaders. That's what I got for you. Don't be a troll. I am Oop.